In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a simple sketch and twist it, turn it, change the patterns in cardstock, and make all sorts of different cards. If you're new here, my name is Linda, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have been making cards for over 25 years, and I'm really excited to share all these with you today. The first card I'm going to share with you is a direct copy from the sketch. This card is made with the With You in Mind stamp set and the Plaid Forever embossing folder, and I just literally copied the exact layout. Now, when you get a sketch, generally you're not going to get dimensions with it. If you look at my blog post, when I use a sketch, I do give you the dimensions of the card that I used, but I might have twisted the sketch up. I might have changed things around, which is what we're going to learn about today, and therefore the dimensions kind of changed. Using a sketch, the idea is that it just gives you a launching off point. I have a greeting and it's matted, and then I have this other little strip and it's matted too. And then I have a couple of layers before I get to my card base. That's what I take away when I look at a sketch like this. And you can see I transferred it directly here. I have a greeting and it's matted, and then I have this strip, it's also matted, and then I have this layer and this layer. Actually, I didn't even include the other layer that you can see on this card. So I already made a slight change because I wanted the yellow to really pop. If I was doing this with a smaller rectangle here, I might have added another layer, but for how big this greeting was, especially once I added the flower to it, if I had added another layer, I really would have diminished the amount of the plaid that you would have seen, and I didn't want to do that. And then I, of course, matched exactly what the bling or accessory was. I added the little bow here with the strawberry slush baker's twine, and then I just added a little bit of extra bling with this darling duckling flat pearl as well. This is one way to use a sketch. Just go for the direct copy. Now, if you want to really change stuff up, this is the card that we're going to make today. So now I'm going to show you this one. And be sure to stay tuned after we make this card together, because I do have multiple other cards to share with you that are based on this sketch, but change things up, showing you how you can really just take it as a launching off point. So I should bring the sketch back in. And all right, so you can see that I have my greeting and it's matted, and then I have a strip and it's matted. I have my bow, and I have a layer and a card base. But what's different is I changed it to a hamburger cut. There's the inside, in case you wanted to know. I did decorate that up as well. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, this I consider a hot dog because it's tall and skinny, and this is a hamburger because it's short and fat. That's just the way I differentiate the two basic styles of card bases before we get into fun folds, which is a whole nother world. All right, so this is based on this sketch. So one thing you can do is just change the orientation of the card base, and then as best you can, work the layers back in. And that's what I've done here. So let's build this one together. As the video title says, this is a sketch masterclass. So what we're really trying to accomplish is to learn how to look at a sketch and change it around. So this is just the first one. We're going to flip the orientation. Because of that, I'm not going to go through all the dimensions of the papers here. You will find a link to today's blog post. It has everything there that you need, along with pictures of all the projects that I'm going to show you here today. All right, so this is going to be the inside of the card. This is a 1 inch by 4 inch strip, and then this is your 4 by 5 1/4 standard inset for your card. The card base is from Strawberry Slush, and I'm just going to fold that in half. There we go, ready to use. Then we have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of the Florals in Bloom Designer Series paper. This is also an extension of this piece. And then we have Peach Pie, which goes with this in a 1 inch strip. We have Petunia Pop in a 3/4 inch strip that will go across here. That will make my background right there. And then I have the mat for what will be my greeting, and we will be all set to go. So basically I just have to stamp the greeting, and then layer this all up. Remember, the point is that I started out with a sketch that was a hot dog cut, and now I am converting it to a hamburger cut. So let's get started. I'm going to need my stamping mat along with my silicone base because I'm going to stamp off of the greeting. The first thing I'm going to do is take my Best Wishes stamp and put it on here. And then I am going to open my strawberry slush, and sorry if it shook the camera a little, ink it up, and I'm going to put it really high on the piece of white cardstock and straighten it out. I'm going to hold it for a mental count of 5 just to make sure that the ink soaks into the card. Pull it straight up, and there we go, a nice crisp greeting. Then I'm going to leave my strawberry slush ink pad open, and I'm going to add a strawberry slush flower, and that's why I have the silicone mat here, because I can stamp off and not worry about needing to wash off the silicone mat. It'll all come off. So I'm going to do a full one here in the strawberry slush, and then just to pull in a little bit more color, I'm going to move this over because that ink is wet and I don't want it to get all over the place. I'm going to clean this off real quick. I just have some Stampin' Mist. I'm not going to spray it on camera because it'll make a mess, but you'll hear it. A couple of squirts, and then I'm just going to take a microfiber cloth and clean that off. Yes, I could use my Simply Chamois, but I just find, especially with red inks, that's a little bit easier. I can close this up. I don't need my strawberry slush anymore. I'm going to open my Petunia Pop, and there we go. Now this time I am going to stamp my Petunia Pop. I'm going to lay it over the strawberry slush flower, but then I'm also going to get a second generation stamp underneath. There we go. So our stamping is complete for this card. Now we just need to assemble it. All right, I am down to the end of my dimensional sheet, but no dimensional goes wasted around here. So I'm just going to take these strips. I'm going to put one here, put one in the middle, and one, oops, on the other side. And then I'll take another strip and put it at the top and the bottom. Some people like to cut these in between the points and use them for little makeshift mini dimensionals. I prefer to use them in strips along the way, and it's really dealer's choice. Now I'm going to peel this off really probably. You can't see it off camera right now, but the Petunia Pop ink pad is still open, so there's always a danger of purple fingers. I am going to hang on just a second and close this up. All right, now let's mat this greeting and pull this card together. So here we go. Center that. I'm going to use Stampin' Seal and just, I could use liquid glue, but everything's pretty much just centered on itself. I just want to make sure I get centered and to the end. It stretches across. There we go. Then I'm going to add this just below center right there. I think this is just a little bit long, but I can cut it off, not a problem. So we'll go here. And there we go. I've used this sketch a few times, so I kind of know where I want everything to go. If you're creating a card for the first time, you might want to kind of set things down and make sure. I know there's a little gap there, but this is a handmade card and we're just going to keep going. As I was saying, you might want to lay it all down first to make sure it's exactly how you want it, and then go ahead and start gluing. I am going to trim this off. I'm going to grab my paper scissors. Have my ribbon ones out for getting the twine done in a minute. There we go. And now it lines up just perfect. So then the next to last thing we're going to do is put the Stampin' Seal on. Out a little bit. Sometimes your Stampin' Seal, it's not going. If you go back to where it's sticky and pull, it'll just get it started again. Sometimes I even have a mat down on my craft space where I have run a little bit of it on some scratch paper, and I can always go over and use the stickiness to get it started again. It's easier than taking it apart and using the roller. Everybody has their method, but mine is to just have something sticky to pull it on, and that just seems to get it started. So I'm going to put this over here, lining it up there, and this is going to go on the inside of my card. Might be able to see a little better as I'm putting this around. Of course, it's not going to skip this time because I wanted to show you. Oh, it skipped a little bit. See, if I wanted more of it, now I've got this sticky part here. It's skipping right now, so I can start up on the stick and pull back, and that will get it started again. Hope that made sense. All right, we're going to go this way so our flowers are not upside down. And that seems centered. There we go. Now what we need is the bow. We're going to use the Strawberry Slush Baker's Twine that is in a trio of colors. And before I started filming this, I already made the bow for you guys. I'm just going to show you how I attach it and how I make sure that it stays down very securely. On the back side of the bow, I'm just going to take a dot, hopefully it's focusing, of liquid glue, and then you get pretty much one shot at this because you don't want to drag it around the card. So I'm just going to set it where I want it to go. I'm going to hold it down there, and then I'm going to take an acrylic block that's not been used so it doesn't have any ink on it. We don't mess up the card. I'm just going to set it down. And now for weight, I can take the one that has some ink and put it there. So we're going to move this off camera and let it dry. And I'm going to show you the actual masterclass part of this video. And what that means is I'm going to bring back in my sketch so we know where this all started. And I'm going to show you 3 cards that I created using similar products that look very different, but I will explain how the sketch matches up. This has the bow element. It's tall and skinny. It's our hamburger cut. But instead of a rectangle sentiment that's matted, it has a circle sentiment that's matted. I added a lot more matting here. You can see this is very narrow. This is from the Stylish Shapes die set, and this is one of the smaller dies, and then I went up 2 sizes to get to this one, so I would have a wide mat. This is the eyelet embossing folder, but I flipped it over, so this is the debossed side. So it didn't really give any lift to this element itself, but the entire card got dimension. You can see the little shadow right here because the tall part, or the embossed part of the folder, is down on this white layer, and it really lifts the yellow layer up. For the strip on the inside, I decided to go all the way. You can see I have 1, 2 card base, 1, 2 card base. For this, what I mixed up is I went all the way across to the end of this lighter layer on the sketch with my single strip of designer series paper that I did not mat. So that was another artist's choice. And then a bow just like it shows. And then on the inside, I just added a few flowers, similar to the way that we did the flowers on the card I just demonstrated for you, using just the C Secret ink, 1st generation, 2nd generation, and 3rd, with a basic white inset 4 by 5 1/4. So I hope you can see how this doesn't look like that until you talk it through. I'm just taking this as inspiration and then using all sorts of different things. So that's one card. Then the next card is a variation as well. So I wanted to use a larger focal image because I wanted this happy birthday dad that's really, really bold. And then I added some screws here just to really give it that masculine feel. I used a strip of designer series paper. It does stick out here, but you can't see it across because this is so big. I had to slide it over a little bit in order to show this. I do like the way the sketch kind of centers all these and then slides the sentiment over. So that's what I still did. I still slid the sentiment over, but I didn't really have enough room to go all the way across because I did want a wider mat here. You can see I used the Pattern of Friendship die and I made it like an argyle. So I ran a bigger piece of gray granite cardstock through my die cutting machine with the plate straight and the cardstock tilted one way. And then I came back and kept the straight plate, but I tilted the cardstock the other way. I hope that made sense. And that's how you get the argyle look. I popped this up on dimensionals just to give it a little bit of lift because it's a very flat card. It really doesn't give your cardstock a lot of lift to create a shadow, but it does give you a lot of texture because there's so much going on with those tiny pin pricks. So that is version number 2 of starting here and getting to here. And then the final one is quite a variation, but it still has some of the same elements. I still have my colorful layer here. I did skip this one as I've done on other cards. I matted my sentiment layer, but I made it much taller and I pulled this forward to make this the greeting. So again, it's a big variation on the sketch, but that's the point. I looked at this and I saw rectangles and a strip and I put them together. I had this greeting and it's long, but it's beautiful. And I wanted to add it to a card. And this is what I used for inspiration to figure out how I could use it on a card. So these 3 cards look very different. And now I'm sure my bow, which was drying off screen, is set up and you can see, let me zoom out a little bit. Now you can see all the cards and you can see that they are very different, but they all do have inspiration from this sketch right here. So I hope you enjoyed today's masterclass, and I look forward to sharing other ways that you can take a sketch and make it into all sorts of different cards. I did allude to a big announcement at the end, and as you can see, this is sketch 11. If you would like to get the ebook for sketches 1 through 10, I have started a digital download store that you can find on my website, and I will link it below, and I will also put it up here on the bottom part of the screen. If you found value in this video, please click the like button to let me know and help the algorithm out. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click subscribe and ring the notification bell so you know every time I post a new video.